Hello, this is Neil from masterpaintingnow.com. I am a top art instructor on Udemy with over 60,000 students, and we'll be showing you how to paint this picture today using my Bob Ross brushes in PaintStorm. So my Bob Ross brushes are free. Just go to my website, the link's in the description, masterpaintingnow.com, and then go to the newsletter page, and bam, you'll have the link to download my Bob Ross free brushes, and then we can get started. If you want to sort of sign up for the newsletter, you can. I hardly ever send out newsletters, but I do keep you in the know-how when I come out with new courses or some new tutorial or something that's cool and worth watching. Anyway, so let's go and get started on this cool painting here. So I could have went into my files and actually copied this correctly, but I just went ahead and print screen when I was on my save, and that's why you can see all these words around here, and you can see when I took the picture and stuff. So I was like, you know what, that'd be a cool picture to paint, so let's go ahead and paint it. So we'll be painting this in a painterly style, like Bob Ross or impressionistic, however you want to look at that. Alright, so the first thing is I want to put down my sky color. I'm going to use a very saturated color to get started. One thing you can do, you can actually just use the colors right out of the picture, and I'll show you how you want to sample that when you do it that way. So we'll start with this very saturated color here. I could have just used the paint bucket and filled it in, but I don't know, I like that feeling that I'm actually painting. So, and using the dropper tool, let's take this color up here. So first I took this color up here, and now we're going to take this color up here. You could, if you want to use these exact colors that I'm using right now, then I would recommend, if you want to just try to figure it out on the wheel over here, then I recommend to, that's a little too much, there we go. I'm going to kind of fade this over. When I have it on here, go ahead and pause the video, and then on your keyboard hit print screen button. It's kind of above your backspace button probably, and you might have to hold down if you're on Windows, you might have to hold down the FN button, the function button, and then hit the print screen button. Either way, that will copy your home screen, and then you can unpause the video and then then paste it inside your art program. So I don't want it to be too saturated, so I'm just kind of coming up like that, because only that top part up here was really saturated. I might bring some of that back here, just kind of, there we go. Very, very light strokes here. And something like that there. And then I might even take that base color here, which is almost white, and we'll just slightly come up here like this. Just kind of put it in there like that. There we go, kind of. So a lot of that's going to be done with the actual clouds too, and the clouds have to either be darker or lighter. So in this case, if you make that part of the sky really light, then the clouds are going to have to be darker than that to show up. In this case, that's how it is in the photo. So I think I'm going to try to go ahead and do something like that. I might put a little bit of lightness down here. All this is going to be probably repainted anyway on the bottom here to get the texture and stuff like that. But I like to start with something like this. The next part is to get the mountains in. So let's go ahead and let's do the clouds next. I like using my second cloud brush here. That's about the right size. And again, I can either make up the colors by going, okay, maybe the clouds are a little bit warmer, go toward the warm side, or go this way. And then go like a little bit darker, so go like down and to the left over here, and I can kind of, get a color like that looks pretty. Or we can just go right with the photo, just to show you how to grab colors off a photo. You can grab this color, you can see the difference in color. It's it's slight, but as it comes down here, we're going to use more of these darker colors, otherwise the clouds kind of disappear. So I'm going to grab something like this here, something in between the colors. I don't know if I made my sky bright enough, but we'll find out. And remember, we're not trying to match the shapes exactly. We're not trying to recreate a photo. We just like, take the idea of the photo and go, hey, I like that. Let's create that. So I'm kind of doing different pressures. I'm kind of pressing lightly, and then I'm pressing hard. A little bit hard, a little bit lighter. And that's how I show how to use all my brushes in my tutorial. So I briefly go through some of the brushes in my actual course, which right now you can get on sale. If you miss the Black Friday sale, you can get my course on sale right now for $13 on my website, so masterpaintingnow.com. Go to courses. I have my Bob Ross course there. It's only $45. You can grab it. And it's a good selling course right now on Udemy. Anyway, you can go ahead and grab that for $13 instead of $40. I'm going to add a little bit of that color there to the bottom of the clouds. Then I'm going to take my cloud blender and I'm going to just little circles and very light pressure around the edges. It just kind of makes the clouds feel more lived in. I'm going to kind of pull some of this. There we go. You can actually drag some of the other colors in between like that. So I grab this blue and I drug it over here. It just kind of fills in like that. I'm going to drag some of this blue right here. There we go. And we'll kind of just... So something like that. If you want harder clouds, you can use the... And we can add, this is the top brush here, the top cloud brush I have. And you can kind of just add some of that harder value. And that's a little bit too bright. We need to go desaturate like it wasn't. I want to kind of match the photo. A little more color, not too desaturated. I'm just adding a little bit more blue back in there. There we go. And I'm just going to add a little bit of detail here and there just to kind of bring it out like that. Alright, cool. You know, sometimes you have to kind of visualize clouds. Sometimes it can be difficult to see clouds isolated like that and then to paint them. You know, because it'll look different when you have the mountains and stuff there. So let's go ahead and grab this color for these clouds. And we're just going to kind of put them on a little bigger brush here. And I'm just kind of imagining where the mountains are because I want the clouds kind of coming behind it like that. So this time I'm trying to leave some of the detail with this brush now. Like so. I'm going to take the smaller or the more detailed cloud brush here and kind of just sprinkle some of these little clouds. It's really good to make smaller clouds with like that. And also I like to sometimes just push the details like so. I'm also going to grab some of these other colors over here with these clouds because I kind of like this right here. It's like a more desaturated kind of color. Actually, it doesn't really show up too well, so I'm going to kind of come like this. I really want that color to show up. So I'm going to exaggerate it. And this is what painting is all about. You see something and you're like, you know what? Just copying the color right from the photo isn't quite what I want, and it won't always give you what I want. Sometimes you have to push it. I'm going to add a little bit of that over here just to kind of have some uniform. Then I'm going to take my cloud blender and just kind of blend out some of the edges here. And kind of blend them out. There we go. Very light pressure. And just kind of select where, kind of maybe pull some of it up. And sometimes what I like to do is I like to take my awesome blender brush and I just like kind of swoop kind of upwards. Just to kind of, you know, whatever way you want the wind to be blowing. Sometimes I'll just pull some of the edges like that. It just adds a little bit of movement to the sky, and I like that, how the clouds kind of sweep up. Right, now we can move on with the mountains. So you want to think about, you know, just working in layers. Now this is an actual proper tutorial. In my course, I teach how to do everything, like how much pressure I'm doing, the stroke type, you know, how to achieve that stroke and everything. So you can learn the actual techniques. These are just like, once you know the techniques, you can follow little lessons like this one and produce cool things. So I'm just showing you how to take those techniques and how to use them in different ways. So for that base mountain, it looks like the base color is kind of bluish green, and it's really dark, obviously. So let's go somewhere about like that. Or you can just, you know, like I said, we've been taking colors from it anyway, so might as well see how it's a really blue color. And sometimes that's hard for people to see, like, you can learn a lot from photographs about color by just color picking, because you see the green over here, you know that this is green, and so you're thinking, look, it's green, but look how much little green there is. There's like blue and yellows and stuff like that in the photo. Look over here, a lot of yellows. And then a lot of people would see this over here and they would think that's just dark green, but then I looked at it again, I'm like, no, that's definitely blue, and you can see it is blue, so I was correct. So sometimes photos are good to study that kind of stuff with. Alright, I'm going to just kind of make a line here, so you can see on the, it's a little bit, the halfway line here is kind of the bottom half is a little bit smaller than the top half, you can see that. And so I kind of want to represent that right about here. I'm just going to do a very light line. It's just going to kind of blur stuff like that, just to have if I have a line to work with. And I know the mountain comes up, you know, to about here. I'm going to just kind of pull that basic shape. Remember, we're not trying to reproduce the photo, so don't worry about getting the exact shapes. That's not what this is about. This kind of painting is, you know, Bob Ross wasn't about he was all about painting for imagination, but I just wanted to show that you could also, if you feel your imagination's lacking that day, you can always just, pop up a Bob Ross video and just follow along with him, That's always an option. So sometimes when I feel like my creative juices aren't flowing, I'll do that. I'll just go to YouTube and pop up a Bob Ross video. Now in the photo you can see it looks like, well, if I can zoom out a little bit here, you can see the whole thing. There we go. You can see this looks like it curves up, like it's got the lens is distorting this edge, I think, and so I don't want it to look like it's curved like that, so I'm going to just do my own thing. And this is where, like, when I do the Bob Ross style and I'm kind of going off a photo, I'm still going by imagination. I'm just using the photo for the basic shapes and stuff and some colors. Everything else I'm just kind of, myself, just let my imagination go and just kind of fill in the blanks. Don't worry about being too detailed. This is why it's good to, like, not even look at it, like, look at it a little bit here and there, and then don't look at it. So that way, I'm going to grab that color. I'm going to make this be the base color, then I'm going to come over with a lighter color. Remember, with Bob Ross style mountains, that's how it works. You come in with that base color. There you go. Then you come back in with a lighter color, so you want the base color to be a darker color. I don't know if that gray is even dark enough. Let me see. Actually, I want it a little bit darker. So that's good. We can leave that. Okay, now let's go and do those very, very back mountains. Remember, you work from the back to the front. Take our textured mountain brush. I'm going to use that color I just grabbed and just kind of, that's good for the shadow side. Just add a little bit of that in there, just a little texture. And normally I would pick my own colors. Like you guys see my other videos, I usually do that, but I'm going to, it looks like snowy rock back there. I might just, I'm just going to grab this color, and I'm going to warm it up a little bit and make it whiter. And I'm just going to use that to add, ooh, that's a little bit too white. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to use that just to add a few textures. You got to kind of, there you go, kind of pull it fast and just kind of hope for the best texture. And that's one thing that's cool about working digitally is you can do that. You can take a couple strokes. If you're working with actual, oil or even with acrylic, I show how to do Bob Ross with acrylics as well on this website. So if you're wondering, you can look for that. I have a couple videos on it. Anyway, so with paint, you have to just do it in one knife stroke. I guess you can scrape it off and try it again, but then you have to lay your dark back down, and it takes more trouble. Whereas with this, you can just do a couple strokes and go, okay, I like that stroke, that worked good, and then leave it. I'm going to take this kind of brighter, there we go, kind of brighter orangey color, and we're just going to kind of pull some of this color here, just a little bit of texture. Maybe make my brush a little bit smaller. Also you can adjust the texture on here. You can adjust the size. So like if you go down here to texture, open up the brush, and then the texture, you see the size here, you can like lower this and see what that looks like. Or you can raise it. Do you want more, more bumps in between? And you can see sometimes when you raise it, it almost makes it to where there's not enough cracks. See that? Because it's too far apart. So make that smaller and come down here. There we go. That's what we want. We want it nice and broken. So I'm going to actually start over again. There we go. I'm just going to kind of pull. There we go. I'm going to kind of blend some of the edges there. There we go. And just kind of blend a little bit of it. That looks pretty good. I'm not trying to do too much detail here. Like I said, this is really background stuff, and we're working impressionistically, so we don't want all those details anyways. I'll get a lighter version of this color. Just add a little bit of texture back there. Add a little bit of blue to this mountain as well. All right, cool. Looking good. I love how those cloud brushes work. It took me a long time to get the right texture and everything and technique to make these cloud brushes something that feels satisfactory and kind of feels similar to the technique when I'm working with oils or acrylics with real paints. I'm debating whether or not I want to do the actual, any sort of texturing. First off, let's do the mountain rock texture. So let's go ahead and add this rock texture right here. It's kind of like this tan brown color. And I guess to fully get that look, let's first add this darker color here. Something that looks more, muted blue. I just want to add it here and there just a little bit. Just kind of pull it down like that. And now we're going to go back and grab this color, the lighter tan color, and kind of just add a little bit of that in there. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Just want to kind of make it some of that color be there. And we're going to come back over this with another color with some tree texture. I need it to be lighter. If it doesn't get lighter, then I have to make it myself. That's pretty good, actually. And again, I'm trying to just get that texture across like this, and then I can kind of detail a little bit. I just want to. There we go. I want the knife to work with me. And again, this is like knife strokes. It's what we're trying to simulate. There we go. And that kind of gives us that, that look I'm going for. There. I'm trying to shape it a little bit more than I normally would. I normally wouldn't even try to add this kind of detail. There we go. And then I got to figure out, how do I want to kind of simulate the texture of trees. I could use this brush and just have it texture different colors, or I could grab a grass brush, but that's probably not going to be good enough. I'm just trying to think of other kinds of. I could use my far pine trees, or just my trees in general. There's this brush here. This kind of adds some interesting texture. So let's try that. As my base, I'll just grab some of this kind of greenish color here and just kind of, that's kind of a greenish brown. I want something a little bit more green. I'm going to make it go toward green. And we can just kind of pull this up here like that, just to kind of get some of that color. And I don't know, that's not quite textured right. Hold on. We could try our bushes brush. That's what Bob Ross would do. Bob Ross would just, tap. He would just tap this texture in there if he wasn't add any texture at all. He usually doesn't do Green Mountain, so let me see. It's true if we use like this bush brush. Hold on, let me just see how this, the wrong kind of texture. It looks cool, but yeah, I don't like that texture either. Let's do this one. So it's trial and error, That looks pretty alright. So we gotta like really just kind of dab it. And to do that, we're just gonna kind of pull here and there just a little bit. We don't want to get rid of that undercolor. We'd just be dabbing this over. In fact, we might want to use this first one. This adds even more texture. There we go. We want to leave a lot of that color. Notice how this paint program, Painter, it naturally just blends all that together for you. It's really nice. So if you haven't used Painter, I highly recommend it. If you're watching this video right now and you're just wondering, is this a program I want to paint with? Even if you don't want to do this style of painting, I would say definitely check it out. It's definitely worth checking out. I kind of want to come in here. I just want to add a little bit of this kind of almost like gold color like that, just a little bit of that in there, and I want to kind of add a little bit of this more greener tone, just like that. There you go, just a little bit here and there. And I kind of want to take some of this dark and kind of work it back in there a little bit. But anyway, it's only $20 and you own it for life. So awesome program. And just really quickly, I just want to show you something. Let's go back to my pictures here, paintings. So for example, I get my course. This is one of the ones we do in my course. And this is all done with this software and with my Bob Ross brushes, and it's really easy to actually paint this. A few techniques and you can actually do something like this. It looks really complicated, but it's really not. It's really quite easy to do. In fact, I think I did that in like 15 minutes inside the course. And we did this one as well. Really easy to do. Just like Bob Ross, it's super easy. And then this one I didn't do in the course, but I did this one on my own time, loosely based on a photo, but it uses the same kind of techniques, the same brushes. This is all done in PaintStorm. And I highly recommend, trying my brushes out as well. They're free. This one's also done in PaintStorm. Even the girl. Now with the girl, I use a set of you can actually use some of the brushes that come with the software. Some of the stock brushes are great, but I actually made some of my own brushes that I took some time on. I haven't uploaded those yet, but these are my just my painting brushes. A lot of these I actually don't use. So my abstract brush I love these brushes I made. This is great, awesome, laying down the framework for abstract. But my favorite brush to use, I think, is called my Main or Main Oil Main, one of these, and then this one's good too. But these are these brushes right here are awesome. I took some time to really refine those brushes and make them fantastic. But anyway, there's some similar brushes that come with Painter, just stock. There's all kinds of brushes that come stock with Painter. You can also download brushes, and I will make this file available, so I'm just waiting for people to request it. One other thing really quick, you can also do fine art, so you don't have to just be stuck with, I can't remember if I put any on this computer. I recently bought a new laptop, and I can't remember if I carried over. I know I have some abstract ones, and none of these are really fine art though. But for example, that's done with mainly just my cloud brush. It's like an abstract, and then this is probably as close as it's going to show you to what I'm trying to show you. Again, this is using a lot of the built-in my abstract brush, and then a lot of the other brushes built into this program, and then using my painter brush for some of the details. But yeah, that one's not. It's still abstract though. It's not quite what I wanted to show you, but oh well. Also has a great set of pencils, so for sketching, getting that pencil look, you can really get a pencil look. I hope this is safe for work. I guess that's pretty close to safe for work. You can also paint something like this with it. This is done with my regular brushes, a mix between my Bob Ross brushes and my regular brushes, kind of more cartoony style, but just giving an idea. But what I wanted to show you was the pencil tool as well. You can really get nice pencils with it. That, for example, that's definitely safe for work. This one came out really nice, but I guess it's safe for work though. But see how it looks like pencil? Really good. And the one that this comes with, this is stock. It comes with the software. So you go down to, or up to rather, here, the pencil. And it's this one here, this tint or tilted right here. This one, see that? And it has that nice pencil look to it. Just fantastic. You can also tilt it if you have a tilt. Most draw-on tablets now support tilt. You just kind of tilt your pen and shade sideways with it, and look at that. You get that. Or if you hold it a little more up and down, you can get nice line work like that. So really cool. Definitely a software we're checking out. It is my most favorite software to work in. So, all right. So we did all that. I kind of like this color right here. This is going to be some of this is going to be from the clouds. And yeah, actually, you know what? What we're going to do now is we're going to kind of do what the photo has a little bit. And let's see here. Let's go back to here. Use my sky brush, which is basically the same brush I use for like misting and stuff like that. Grab this color here. I'm just going to kind of pull it over. And I know it has more of a warm tint, so maybe we can warm this up, I suppose. There we go. Just kind of, oh, that looks nice actually. Just kind of warm it up right over the top like that. Maybe a little bit in here. And also another thing you can do that's nice is you can go here, just like Photoshop, change the blend mode of the actual brush itself. So we go to color dodge, for example, and you can see that it kind of adds that nice color dodge effect. Oh wait, no it didn't. I didn't even select it. No wonder it didn't look right. I was like, that doesn't look like color dodge. I was actually, there you go, that's color dodge. Just like that. So if you wanted to ever like bright up a certain part of the sky, like make it look like, where's the sun kind of hitting, you can kind of just lightly, I mean very, very lightly, go like that and just kind of, you know, hit the sunlight and just have it hit some of this stuff. Looks really nice. So about like that. And believe me, this is all background stuff, and so it's going to look fantastic once we add everything else on top of it. I always like to go back to normal, just so I don't forget to reset it. Let's take our big brush here, the second cloud brush. Let's grab some of these cloud, but I'm going to make it warmer. We're going to add some warm cloud. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, let's add some warm clouds. Just right in front here, on this side at least. We'll add some warm clouds on this side. Like that. And then down here we'll add some cooler clouds down on this side here. And just kind of, there we go. Take my cloud blender brush, make it a little smaller, and just kind of blend out some of these edges here. So it looks more like rolling clouds, you know, more like, definitely blur out the bottoms. Not blur, but use the cloud texture and kind of, there we go. Softens it a little bit, softens the clouds up. Alright, that's looking pretty cool. We have a nice mountain backdrop there. So now we got to just kind of blend this down. So I use my awesome blender brush. I'm really going slow right now. Usually I would, you know, paint a lot faster than this, and a lot of my videos I'll even paint faster than this. But I just taking my time here. Kind of like that. There we go. Just kind of blend that out like that. There we go. Cool. Now let's go ahead and add in our trees. I kind of like how it goes kind of this orange-red and kind of blends outward. So let's go. For this one, I'm going to use my tree brush again. It really does save a lot of time. You can, if you really want to try to feel like you're doing this more like traditionally, you can grab this brush here and you kind of work up and down like this. Of course, you don't want a dark color, but you kind of make the tree line like this, just kind of stabbing up and down. You know, making the tree line. But I'm going to go ahead and use, you can also use this brush, you can make it go up and down, you know, and do like that kind of similar thing. This one as well, you can make it smaller. So just turn it down, the size. So there's these different brushes like that that are made for doing that, but I'm going to go ahead and use Auto Distance Trees. And we're going to go to the photo here. And let's grab this kind of darker color right here. And I'm just going to add some of these darker trees in here. It looks a lot darker in the photo, but, you know, like that. And then we're going to grab the dark color of the trees, which is this color here. And we're going to kind of blend that over. You can just pull it straight across like that, but I like to kind of go up and down with it because then it kind of changes the shapes more. Then we can turn it down in size. And that's what's good about this brush. It just really lays down a quick framework like that. Maybe we'll just go to there. Maybe we'll add a little bit of trees over here. I left this kind of blue. I wanted the focus to be more over here, so I didn't focus on making all this brown and stuff like the photograph. So also you can take this brush and turn it upside down. So click on that icon, click on here, click this icon. It'll flip it vertically. And now we can work our magic here and kind of add some of the base dark tone for the reflection of the water. Boom, like that. Then I always like to turn my brush back to the default. I still feel like this should be darker. Let me see here what color. There we go. Just kind of add some of that color in there. And then that's where we can come back here with one of our, like something like this brush here. See how it's sideways right now? You can change that. So you can go up here, click on that icon, click on this icon, and I can just rotate it. In this case, I can't just flip it. I have to actually rotate it 90 degrees. And unfortunately, I don't know if there's a faster way to do that. Can you just grab it and flip it? I don't think so. Yeah, you have to use these. You have to click it too, you can't just hold it down. Anyway, that's going to make it to where it's up and down. Now I can grab this darker color here and I can kind of just put some of this texture back in here, because I know that I don't want that to be a hard transition between those two. Now I'm going to take this brown color, I'm going to kind of just, right here, just kind of hit some of the tops of the trees here with it like that. And just kind of add some of that tone. Maybe this tree comes all the way like that. And you can do this all the way down. We can also grab kind of some green tones as well. I grab this kind of green tone and just, oh, it's too much. We're going to make it a lot darker though. There we go. Just add a little bit of green here and there, just kind of indicate that we do have some green trees back here like that. And this is what I love about this style of painting. You know, you're just kind of a few brush strokes and you're representing shapes, and that's awesome. So again, I need to take a, I don't know, some kind of oranger color here. I need to just kind of represent some of these top, you know what, let me see, hold on. What if I just kind of grab that exact color? Okay, that works. Just going to kind of spike in some of that, and I'm going to take some of the dark and kind of re-break that back up. Kind of sometimes going back and forth between two colors helps as well. I kind of like that, so maybe a little bit of green down here. And then some dark, more dark back in here as well, like that. Just a few little spots. I think that's good enough. And then I'm going to take the Awesome Blender and just vertically go over this, or horizontally, and just kind of start to create our waterline, just like that. And we can pull some of this down like this, just to kind of, I'm going to kind of come up like this into my trees, just to kind of add a little bit of blurriness to kind of get it all working together. And that's a little too much there. Just try to maybe add some atmosphere kind of coming in like that. And then I want to grab my sky brush. I do want to bring a little bit of this color right here. And just kind of, boom, just like that. Just like a little bit of that kind of fog line they have there. Then I might grab my dirt brush and this color here. I'm just going to kind of pull it right along here and just kind of make, like you can see some of the, you know, dirt and sand kind of poking through here and there. If you wanted to make this more like, you know, grass, you can use some grassy color as well. In fact, when I get over here, I might actually change to this more grassy tone. There we go. And you can actually go sideways with it like this and kind of make it look like a rolling hill a little bit. Just a little bit of texture there. And that's all you need. Don't need much. We can even take our bush brushes here. I didn't mean to grab that brush. And just kind of add some bushes. Oops, that's a little too big. There we go. Just add a little bit of texture back here with some bushes. Maybe even take this to be a little bit greenish. There you go. Just a couple of like bushes in the front and the foreground there. There you go. Just a little bit of texture to kind of break it up. Alright, cool. Everything's looking good. Now we can reflect the water. You know, we can actually do a, like when you're working with oils and stuff, you can do a glaze. And Bob Ross has done that before, where he'll paint with matte painting, more like kind of like acrylic. He'll paint that down, like texture of rock or something. Then he'll paint over that, you know, with some oils, but you know, he'll make them very thin, so that way it's kind of like glazing, and it like just colors them blue or whatever colors you want to color them. I remember he did that in a few episodes. It was pretty cool. So let's go ahead and add, I'm just debating whether or not I want to reflect that mountain into the water. Instead of having to repaint it, we can just go ahead and grab a copy of this layer here, or at least a copy of all this top part here. And we're going to edit, copy, edit, paste, edit, flip vertically, pull it down here, make sure it matches where we have right about there. Take our eraser tool and just kind of go right along the edge like this and just erase some of this. That way it kind of matches. Actually, you know what? That's a hard eraser. So hold on a second. You know, actually, I'm going to just grab my, instead of an eraser, let's go like this. Let's just grab my blender brush. There we go. And just kind of blend this out like that. There we go. And then we can erase some of it with a soft eraser. And I think, do I have a soft eraser? I know there's one built in. Let's see here. This one, I think, built into the actual program. Just lightly go over it like that. There we go. Then we're going to take this and we're going to put it on a blend layer. So like soft light, for example, works pretty good. A lot of this we've already painted in there, so I'm going to just kind of come back in. Oh, you know what? It's on sized. So what we got to do is come to our, see how it has the size to pressure as well? So that would be, I haven't messed with these settings a little bit, so I'm just kind of looking at it real fast. Maybe it's under general. Yeah, size right here. So I'm going to take that off of pin pressure. We don't want that selected to pin pressure, so let's choose, how do you choose none? Just unselect it, I guess. Click OK. And now it's going to be more, yeah, there we go. Perfect. That's what I wanted. And just kind of blend out some of this darker color because we already painted some of that in there. There we go. Get rid of all these edges. I might even kind of erase some of the top of the mountains here just for it's not so prominent. There we go. Now actually in the photo it foreshortens the mountain, so maybe we'll do that with it as well. That's actually really easy to do, so I'll show you how to do that. Just go here and grab free transform. Grab this image itself and we'll kind of foreshorten this mountain like so. Click OK, and let's get rid of some of this right here, that edge that I had created, and there you have it, just that simple. And we can go back and paint back over this. I'm going to kind of get rid of some of this right here. I think that's pretty good actually. Yeah, that's kind of how I made it. I like to always merge this down, so let's go to layer and merge a layer down. Back to one layer again. Everything's looking good. I'm just debating how much more detail I want to add into the water here. I really liked how I had this play of green and stuff, so we can actually add that back in there. Let's go back to the Bob Ross brushes here. Go to our sky brush. Let's go ahead and set it to, and also you can collapse these by just clicking on them, by the way, make it shorter. Let's click on lighten. We're going to grab this kind of green color, nice kind of sea green, and we're just going to add it right here on top. Ooh, that's a little too much maybe. Just a little bit of that, very, very light touch here. Just kind of lighten up some of that. Came down on the mountain like that. And then there's like texture of the actual rock underneath, and that's something I was gonna, we can work on another layer. Let's make a new layer. Let's grab our mountain brush. We'll just make some rocks with our mountain brush here. I'm just gonna kind of take a color here and just desaturate it a lot. Make it a little bit darker so we can just kind of build these tones here. And just gonna kind of build some tones of rock. So like that. And these are going to be the rocks that are underwater. Really cool technique. You can actually do this with make these a little smaller so I can make it more round. You can do a similar technique using physical brushes as well. So you paint this down first, this kind of texture, and you would paint all that down. I'm going to kind of come here like this. This is the rock that comes outside the water now. But you paint your texture down, and then you would, let's use this texture brush now, I just want to add a little bit of light to the tops of these. Just here and there where you don't. Anyway, you lay down a texture like this, and you can even do it in black and white, for example. That is, use black and white paints that dry fast. Use acrylic that dries fast. Even if you're going to put oil on top of it. And you let it all dry, and then after this dries, this layer that you just did right here, a little bit of detail, you then glaze over it and make it look like it's underwater. By just using a little bit of blue, or whatever color the water tone is going to be. So like that, right? And then we're going to take and we're going to glaze over it by making another layer. And we can set this layer to, let's say, overlay. Grab our watercolor here, our sky brush, and just boom, just like that. Look at that. And just push all that back right into the water. Just like so. I'm going to take this layer now, the layer underneath it. Awesome blender. I'm just going to kind of blend some of this texture away. Just like that. Just kind of make it harder to see, Just like that. Look at that. Adds a little bit of detail and looks like it's kind of like it's underwater. And then finally, let's flatten all this. So I think there's a flatten all. Merge lower layers into a new one. Merge layer down. I could have swore there was one that just merges all layers. Guess you have to go like this, which is fine. And then we're going to take a really dark color, the same kind of color we had in the foreground. And we're going to come here with it now. And we're going to kind of just build this dark rock right here. This is the rock that's in the foreground. So we're kind of duplicating this rock right here. Maybe I'll even take some of the colors from it. Again, we're doing abstract, so not abstract, but like this. Just grab some of these textures and just kind of pull them like that. And I like to go black right back over the dark sometimes. Just kind of add that more subtle texture, and then we'll take some of this color here. It's almost like a purplish. Looks kind of, see, I was right. It is kind of purple. Diluted purple. I want to just leave a little bit of that dark showing underneath. Like that. Maybe some of these edges, we can just kind of get rid of them. Take some of that black, kind of go back. Or it's not quite black, but that dark color, and kind of go back over some of that. So, I don't know, I don't like that. I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to change it because it's just, with this more abstract, not abstract, you know what I mean. I meant to say, with this more, sorry, just trying to paint. Sometimes when I get into painting, I stop talking. It's not abstract, it's kind of more of an impressionistic, painterly look. And when I do that, sometimes it's like, and I got this little thing back here. I don't know how that happened. And that's going to be kind of hard to get rid of. And I must have accidentally hit my brush or something, so we're just going to use the Awesome Blender brush and just kind of blend it out like that. Alright, so everything's looking pretty good so far, and I think we'll be able to finish this in under an hour. Now we're going to take this kind of dark color here, our mountain brush, and we're going to add our final tree on here. So let's kind of add this lump of dirt rock shape like that. Grab our textured brush, and we're going to add some of this, we'll use the actual colors in the photo again. Just kind of reddish brown, right? No, that's the one I wanted. And we're just going to kind of come right horizontally with it. Like that. Try to add this kind of, then I might take some of this more purplish color. It's like a desaturated purple. Oh, maybe it's really just desaturated red, which can sometimes look like purple. Like right there, see that almost looks like purple? But it's just a really desaturated kind of orange-red color. It kind of looks like a desaturated purple, similar. And finally, I'm going to take this color, I'm just going to brighten it up. Add where I want that kind of sun peeking out some of it like that. I might actually take some of this and reflect it into the water. Sometimes I like to just pull the shape straight down like that. And one thing I like to do, I like to take my vertical brush or my horizontal brush, and I just pull this down like this. Sometimes this is all I do to create water type reflection. Then take my vertical brush, grab a lighter color, and just lightly come across like that. And just sometimes just adding those two crisscrossing makes the effect. I'm going to come all the way back here as well and just kind of add some of that as well. And I want to add right on top of all this. This is where we're going to start adding our final. There we go. There we go. Just a light streak here and there does the trick. There we go. Look at that. I might have done too much. So I'm going to use my water brush instead. Water brush will add fewer lines. Same idea though. Just kind of boom, just like that, and then lightly brush. Lightly brush all this back and forth. Look at that. Nice kind of water texture. And then take my waterline brush. Take this nice sky white color, cloud color, and I'm just kind of creating a waterline now. Don't make it totally straight, kind of follow the land, just little marks here and there. This right here is kind of more fog, but I'm going to add just a little bit of, come on, there we go. And I like to add some really small lines way in the background like this, just where I think this won't be in the photo, but I like to add this to my painting. So and then I'm going to add just a couple here in the foreground. Right here on the edge of the water, create a water line right along the edge of this rock right here. I kind of just, it's kind of like that. You kind of like, you go like this and like this, you know? That's kind of the shapes I'm thinking of. I'm breaking them up. I'm not making them like that, but it has to be pretty much horizontal. Like so. Maybe there's a little bit, I kind of got rid of all the texture that I created with those rocks. You can kind of see a little bit peeking through. I should have left more of them. Oh well. It's fine. And then sometimes I'll even go back over that with the vertical brush and just kind of blend some of those lines I just made out, just very lightly touching them, just so it's not so perfect. You could just leave it like that. That actually looks nice, but I don't know if I want that raggedy looking tree in it though. It's a pretty raggedy looking tree in this photo. So do I want the raggedy looking tree? Let's make a new layer just in case I don't like it. Because honestly it looks good just like this. We can just say cut it quits right there. But I'm going to go ahead and make this tree, take this same dark color right here, make it kind of small, and we'll just kind of put this tree in right like this, and then kind of pull up. I'm not going to make it straight. I'm going to kind of just blend out some of the edge there, which basically pulls the sky color and kind of almost adds like a highlight without having to paint the highlight. You can always grab a thin brush and paint the highlight in there. For example, you can take even the textured brush and kind of come up and down, just make it smaller, and you can kind of just lightly, you know, add some of that texture right to the edge of the branch, just like that. Looks pretty cool. Although I would probably do the color like something like this to kind of show the brownness and the sun, like almost like the sun hitting it like that. Maybe even make it, maybe hold on, let's see, make it even. There we go. Very light pressure, and it's kind of similar to using a knife on its side when you in paint, when you add the like when Bob Ross just takes the edge of his knife and just lightly touches all up and down the tree to get that highlights. It does something similar like so. And I'm gonna add some of this darkness right here back into the rock with this rock texture brush, just like that. There we go. Just a little bit of shapes here and there. You don't have to add this kind of detail. It's really the detail that, you know, Bob Ross wouldn't have had the time to do when he was working. I'm going to take one of my pine texture brushes, like maybe that one, or actually, you know what? I'm debating what I want to do for this. I'm going to do the dirt brush here. And let's grab kind of a greenish color. More green going towards yellow like that. And I'm just add make it dark though. Just gonna kind of, it's not dark enough. There we go. I just want to create a little bit of, you know, kind of grassy texture or something right there. It shows up in the photo a little bit, so kind of like that. And then we'll just add a little bit of, it's kind of desaturated. A couple of highlights, just like that. Let's go back to our dark color here. Still debating what kind of tree I want this to be. I kind of like what's there, but we can use this brush here. Start with the dark color first. We're just going to add a few. We're not going to make it exactly like the tree in there. We're going to do like one of my basic pine trees, except we're going to make it more open, like this. Maybe a couple branches there. Kind of break it up some more, maybe. Like that, and then we can even take our mountain brush now, make it thin. We can actually come in here and just add a few branches here and there, like this. That way I can add the pine kind of texture just right on top of the edges of those branches there. You know, maybe have a couple in the middle like this. Just a few like that. There we go. Just going for a cool looking shape, you know, like sometimes it's like you got to focus more on what's the individual like shapes I'm dealing with here, rather than I like to think abstractly. And notice how I went right off the, I didn't make this tree blend right into the tip of that. In other words, I didn't make my tree go right into the tip of the mountain. That looks weird. So you always want to always be mindful of your mountains in the background. Make sure trees are on one side or the other of the point of the mountain. And that's actually pretty good. We can actually just stop right there and be like, yeah, that looks good. But instead, I'm going to take some of this color here, this brown kind of color. It's blending through the background. I'm just kind of touch the edges of some of these branches right here with that brown. And then what we're going to do after we get some of that brown in there, it's really dark, but it's fine. You'll see in a second how we're going to use that. I need to make sure that even if I can't really see the color, I need to make sure that brown is there. Because there's this really cool technique I used in one of my previous painting videos, and it worked out quite nicely. Let's make this a little bit bigger. I just want to add some of these textures like that. There we go. Just kind of pull the edge textures here. I think that'll be good enough. And then we're going to come back here. We're going to set this to color dodge. We can try overlay as well. Set it to an orange color, and then just lightly hit the edges of like that. We're trying to kind of recreate that look, like it looks like sun is just kind of hitting the edges of some of that, you know, bringing some texture out. Some of the top right there. There we go. Just hitting the tops of these branches and the bottom, because that sunlight's kind of shining through. There we go. You gotta make sure the colors are there, because if the colors aren't there, it won't quite work right. You can kind of, you know, paint right over it. You can see how it kind of, where the color's at, it kind of really brings out the color. Like that. And that's actually pretty cool. And you can call that done just like that if you wanted to. It adds more of that kind of silhouette kind of look to it. And then finally, we can take our mountain brush, take this dark color, and there we go. You know, actually, I'm gonna make it on its own layer. I'm gonna pull the shadow like that of the tree trunk. There we go. And maybe just make some of these. Debating whether I want to make any of those bottom shapes. Yeah, I guess we can. Just kind of create some of them like that. I'm still on color dodge. Should have went back to normal. There we go. I forgot to reset. I usually always go back. I kind of like that look though, actually. And then finally what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to set it to overlay. And I'm going to turn the opacity down. I'm going to flatten all this. Now I can come back in here and I can just take my vertical brush here and just kind of pull some of that reflection just like that. And I might finally want some really bright, almost sunny looking water hitting right along right here. Just where I know the sun is brighter. There you go, just a little bit like that. It's just kind of hitting some of the waves, you know, that are kind of moving. Some of the rippled water, and then maybe take that dark color as well. 'Cause sometimes, you know, with images and stuff, it'll add shadow as well. So I'm just kind of, basically I'm just taking that shape that I have kind of created there of the tree and stuff, the reflection of the tree, and just kind of breaking it up horizontally like that. Lastly, what I didn't get was some of this cloud here, and actually I didn't make it up here higher. This all kind of looks like too open, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a cloud brush here, grab some of this cloud like that, and we'll kind of repeat it down here. I'm going to take my cloud blender, just kind of blend it out just a little bit. There you go. That looks pretty nice. Take this cloud brush now and just kind of add some more sharp texture like that. Some little clouds here and there. No, don't like that down there. Just add a couple. There we go. Finally, take my vertical brush again and just take some of these and just lightly go over this like this. Just very, very lightly. Just kind of make it look like it's, see, it kind of blends those lines in like that, but it still kind of looks like it's reflected in the water. But it broke it up a little bit. And I like to, you know, like I said, I like to go like this. Take this bright color over here, and we'll just add a little bit of water lines just here and there. You know, I like adding water lines over just a little, you know, I always love that about water, like how the water just kind of plays on some of the ripples and just kind of adds these little almost triangular type shapes. Looks nice, so I'll just add a little bit of those in there like that. Then take my awesome blender brush, add some texture back to that, and kind of just blend some of that out because it just looks a little overworked. And this brings that nice painterly look right back to it. Just like that. Alright, so here's the photo it's based on. Remember, we're not trying to paint a photo. Like, if you want to paint a photo, fine, get really detailed with it. Get in those individual pixels and really try to, you know, detail your photo out to look, or your painting to look just like a photo. But that's not the kind of painting I like. I never enjoyed that. In fact, I never really enjoyed realism, period. I'm good at it. I could show you some stuff I've done with pencil and stuff, you know, photography work and, you know, portraits and stuff. But I like painting more from the imagination. But if I am painting from a source material, I like to paint with a specific style in mind. And so I'm like not trying to recreate the photo exactly. I'm trying to recreate the impression that the photo has, the feelings that it has, the colors, or whatever, you know. So that's kind of how I think about it, and comes out cooler that way, I think, because I'm trying to get a painterly look, something that represents it but is not it exactly. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense, and that's what I like to do. You can work however you wish though. But with this technique, anyone can learn it. It's really easy to learn. It's not difficult. Using these brushes is really easy. I'm going to add some color dodge. I'm going to see if I can't. No, not screen. Color dodge. There we go. And I'm going to make this a really kind of warm. There we go. That's too much. I just wanted to add a little bit of this color. No, too much. There we go. It's really nice how you can just, if you subtly use that color dodge, you can also try overlay and stuff. And if you add a little too much, just come back, right back over and just kind of, boop, get rid of it, just like that. And that's really nice. What it does, it kind of adds a, I might overwork that. There we go. It just adds that kind of sunny where the sun's kind of hitting the rock. You can also just take a, color that, just take this color for example and just kind of make it brighter and more saturated and just lightly, if I can get it to, come on, there we go. It's being a pain. Okay, I'm just going to go like this, watch. And I'm going to come back over it with these other colors. There we go. And it kind of just adds that. But I don't like it, so I'm going to go back to where I had it. I liked how I had it like that. That was pretty good. Actually, I'm going to go right back to there. I think I liked it like that. Alright, cool, that's it. So did it in about an hour, and this was a pretty detailed painting. So once this is really taking my time, kind of explain what I'm doing. I'm not trying to work too fast. Just thinking about this. It's a really relaxing thing, and it's a really good thing as a, hobby, just to relax. And it's kind of almost meditative. Just sit back and not really think about anything and just kind of relax and do your thing. It's really fun. So great way to just relax and have a good time, just sitting back and listening to some music or something. So definitely recommend trying this style of painting. It's super easy, super fun. You can recreate photos. The essence of what's there you could with just using these techniques. Is really simple, and it's only a few techniques, and you just use those techniques in different creative ways to get different different looking objects. You can do boats and all kinds of stuff using these same kind of techniques. So impressionistic techniques with these brushes. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. Smash the likes button. Believe it or not, that helps so much. It only takes a second of your time, just hitting the like button, and it really helps the video be seen by the people. Alright, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.